Welcome to the Hodja on Everything. The Space. Chapter 3. Watching Yesterday's Galaxy. In the previous episode, we discovered that space and time are not separate actors performing on different stages, but threads woven together into a single fabric. We learned that gravity is not really a force pulling objects through space, but space-time itself quietly reshaping the paths that everything follows. We also met Einstein, who somehow managed to convince humanity that clocks, rulers, and even the present moment are considerably less reliable than we once believed. Tailors work with fabric. Physicists apparently do too. Today we are going to discover something even stranger. If space-time has a fabric, then the night sky hanging above us is not a live broadcast. It is an archive. Human beings have always looked at the stars with the comforting assumption that they are seeing the universe as it exists right now. It feels obvious. You look through your window and see today's street. You look at your watch and see today's time. You look into the sky and naturally assume you are seeing today's universe. Astronomy, however, has an unfortunate habit of taking our most reasonable assumptions, smiling politely, and throwing them into a black hole. The universe has no live broadcast. Everything you see above your head is old news. The reason is beautifully simple. Light is astonishingly fast, traveling at almost 300,000 kilometers every second, but the universe is astonishingly large. Even light cannot cross it instantly. Whenever you look at anything in space, you are waiting for light to arrive. The farther away something is, the older the information. Across the universe, that delay becomes the story. Even our own sun demonstrates the principle. The sunlight warming your face at this very moment left the sun about 8 minutes ago. If the sun suddenly vanished, which fortunately it will not, we would continue enjoying perfectly ordinary sunshine for another 8 minutes before receiving the rather unfortunate update. The universe is incredibly fast. It is simply even bigger. Leave the solar system, and the delays become dramatic. Some stars we admire tonight may already have changed dramatically without our knowledge. Others may no longer exist at all. We have not received the update yet. The universe is remarkably efficient at many things. Instant messaging is not one of them. As distances continue growing, astronomy slowly transforms into history. The light from the Andromeda galaxy reaches us after about 2.5 million years of travel. The most distant galaxies captured by modern telescopes are billions of years old. Some of the faintest objects ever observed appear as they existed only a few 100 million years after the Big Bang. Astronomers are therefore doing something extraordinary. They are not simply exploring distant places, they are exploring different moments in time. This leads us to one of my favorite ideas in all of science. The universe is not synchronized. There is no universal present. We casually use words like now and today as though the cosmos agrees with our diary. It doesn't. Somewhere there is no Monday. Somewhere there is no 21st century. Somewhere there is not even an Earth. Imagine a civilization living 65 million light years away with a telescope unimaginably more powerful than anything humanity has ever built. If they pointed it precisely towards our planet today, what would they see? Not cities, not aircraft, not football stadiums. They would see dinosaurs. Their latest documentary about Earth would probably be titled Remarkably Large Lizards, a Promising Dominant Species. Humanity would not even receive a cameo appearance. Move somewhere else, and another civilization may currently be watching the construction of the Egyptian pyramids, wondering why this curious primate species became obsessed with stacking enormous stones. Somewhere else, another group of alien historians may be watching yesterday's football match and shouting at referees with exactly the same passion we do. Apparently, some things really are universal. Travel even farther, and the situation becomes stranger still. Somewhere, astronomers are carefully surveying our region of the Milky Way and confidently publishing papers concluding that Earth does not exist. They are not mistaken. The light informing them that Earth exists has not arrived yet. Somewhere beyond them, researchers are monitoring an interesting cloud of gas that, from our perspective, eventually becomes the solar system. Somewhere farther still, they have not even reached that chapter. Their report reads, "Nothing particularly interesting has happened here yet. We shall continue observations." Sometimes I think the universe resembles the world's largest streaming platform, except every civilization is watching a different episode. One is watching dinosaurs, another is watching the Roman Empire. Somewhere else, Earth has not even formed yet. The universe never gives spoilers. Light travels only as fast as light can travel. Perspective has an extraordinary way of reorganizing our worries. We argue over daylight saving time, time zones, calendars, and deadlines. Meanwhile, the observable universe cannot even agree on which geological era Earth is currently experiencing. Humanity struggles to persuade everyone to use the same electrical plug. Expecting the entire cosmos to agree on what counts as now may have been slightly ambitious. And this is exactly why telescopes are among the greatest inventions humanity has ever produced. They are often described as instruments for seeing distant objects. I think that undersells them considerably. Telescopes are time machines. They do not transport us into the past. Instead, they allow the past to arrive here. Every larger mirror reveals not merely fainter galaxies, but older chapters of reality. If family photo albums preserve memories of grandparents, telescopes preserve memories of the universe itself. Every astronomical photograph captures a moment that no longer exists. Your family album may go back 100 years. The universe's family album stretches back nearly 14 billion. If telescopes allow us to browse the universe's family photo album, perhaps we should ask what fills most of its pages. The answer, overwhelmingly, is galaxies. A galaxy is not simply a collection of stars. It is an enormous ecosystem containing stars, planets, black holes, gas, dust, and, perhaps somewhere, curious beings asking exactly the same questions we are asking tonight. When we say the Milky Way, we are talking about our galaxy. Humanity has a charming habit of mistaking its own neighborhood for the entire universe. History suggests we have been making that mistake for quite some time. My personal favorites are spiral galaxies. Their sweeping arms stretch across hundreds of thousands of light years like enormous celestial pinwheels turning silently through the darkness. Our own Milky Way is one of them. People often imagine that the solar system sits proudly at the center of the Milky Way, as though humanity somehow negotiated a particularly prestigious postcode. We did not. We live well away from the center, inside a relatively small structure known as the Orion Spur. Imagine the Milky Way as an enormous city. We do not live downtown. We occupy a pleasant suburban neighborhood between two larger spiral arms. The scenery is excellent, the neighbors appear reasonably quiet, and property prices are probably still impossible. Fans of Douglas Adams may remember that Earth was described as being located on the unfashionable western spiral arm of the galaxy. Whether the directions are accurate or not, the joke captures something important. We occupy a perfectly ordinary address in a perfectly ordinary galaxy among hundreds of billions of others. The universe was under no obligation to organize itself around our convenience. Galaxies themselves are far from permanent. They rotate, evolve, and occasionally collide. Our nearest large neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy, is currently moving towards us. Before anyone updates their travel insurance, there is no immediate cause for concern. The encounter is expected in around 4 to 5 billion years. Even then, galaxies are mostly empty space, so stars are unlikely to collide directly. Instead, gravity will slowly reshape both galaxies into a single, larger galaxy. Cosmic architecture, it seems, is particularly fond of renovation projects. Every galaxy we observe represents a different chapter of cosmic history. Nearby galaxies show us a relatively mature universe. Distant galaxies reveal the universe in its youth. The most distant galaxies allow us to glimpse some of the earliest structures ever formed in the universe. Astronomers, therefore, do not simply map space, they reconstruct history. Perhaps that is why astronomy feels so different from almost every other science. Astronomers patiently gather ancient light and reconstruct a story whose chapters are scattered across billions of light years. They are, in many ways, historians of reality itself. And perhaps there is something quietly reassuring hidden inside that idea. Every human life is brief, yet the light leaving Earth today has already begun its own journey across the universe. One day, unimaginably far in the future, someone may observe that light and wonder who we were. Or perhaps they will simply conclude that this small yellow star once hosted an intelligent species that spent a surprising amount of time arguing online. Today, we discovered that looking farther into space means looking farther back in time. We learned that the universe has no single present moment, that telescopes are genuine time machines, and that our home lies within an ordinary spiral galaxy called the Milky Way. We also discovered that galaxies are not fixed islands but living structures, forever rotating, evolving, and occasionally rearranging the cosmic furniture. In the next episode, we will leave galaxies behind and follow the extraordinary lives of the stars themselves. We will discover how stars are born, how they shine for millions or billions of years, and how their spectacular deaths forge the very elements from which planets and people are made. In other words, next time we are going to discuss stellar death and discover why it made your existence possible. This concludes Chapter 3 of The Space, Watching Yesterday's Galaxy. Thanks for listening. See you in the next episode.